Hello, welcome back. I hope you had a wonderful spring break and enjoyed some of the gorgeous weather. It was really nice. I know Leonardo had a good time, right? I played with Scarfy and Dave. Okay. So we are going to be working with Flora and Ulysses this whole week. Hopefully you've had a chance to watch those read-alouds. This is such a good book. I love this book so much. And before we get started today, I want to talk about a good basic structure for a paragraph, because we're going to write a paragraph today. So this is the structure we're going to be working with. In the beginning of your paragraph, you want to introduce your topic so that your reader knows what you're going to be writing about. And after that, you want to give a little bit of background information. Next, you're going to make a claim or a thesis. And then you'll be giving evidence to support your claim. Finally, you're going to tie your evidence back to your claim. I know this is not new for most of you. This is kind of the way we've been writing paragraphs all year, but it's a good review. So, what we're going to be writing about today is Flora being a cynic. You know how she's always talking about being a cynic. And to review, a cynic is a person who has a very skeptical attitude, someone who is very doubtful. So the question then is Flora a cynic? What do you think? I have some ideas so far, and I'm going to start writing my paragraph to answer that question. So if you have your notebook, that's great. If you don't have it, a plain piece of paper is just fine. Or if you're lucky enough to have a laptop to be able to type this on right now, that's awesome too. Back to my introducing the topic. The way that I decided to do that for this paragraph is I said, Flora is always thinking and telling people that she is a cynic. A cynic is a very skeptical person. So there's my introducing the topic. Flora is always thinking and telling people that she is a cynic. A cynic is a very skeptical person. Now I'm going to make my claim. My claim is, I don't think Flora is really a cynic. Pretty simple. Just said what I think. And now, the rest of my paragraph, or most of the rest of it, is evidence from what we've read so far for why I think she's not a cynic. I picked 3 reasons. For one thing, she loves comic books, which are full of outrageous events that a cynic would think were silly, right? I mean, she's always reading those comic books. And then she really tends to think of the world in comic book terms. That's not something a skeptical or doubtful person would do, right? So that's my first piece of evidence. And then my next one is, also, she views the world as if it were a comic book full of villains and heroes, which is not how a skeptical person would see things. There's my second piece of evidence. And then my third piece of evidence, finally, a cynic would never imagine that a squirrel would be a superhero who would vanquish his enemies. So those are my 3 reasons why I don't really think she's a cynic. So that's the give evidence to support my claim part. Now, finally, I'm going to tie the evidence back to the claim. And here's me doing that. Flora believes in far too many unlikely, imaginative things to be a cynic. Ta-da! That's it. So let me read the whole thing all together. Flora is always thinking and telling people that she is a cynic. A cynic is a very skeptical person. There's my background information. I don't think Flora is really a cynic. There's my claim. For one thing, she loves comic books, which are full of outrageous events that a cynic would think were silly. One piece of evidence. Also, she views the world as if it were a comic book full of villains and heroes, which is not how a skeptical person would see things. Finally, a cynic would never imagine that a squirrel would be a superhero who would vanquish his enemies. That's my third piece of evidence. Now, to tie it back into my claim, Flora believes in far too many unlikely imaginative things to be a cynic. And that's my whole paragraph. So, you can rewatch this if you want. Maybe my cameraman will show you a picture of my whole paragraph. Looks like a lot of writing, but really it's just because I wrote big and skipped lines. Here's my background information. Underlined in squiggly lines is my claim. And then I've got 1, 2, 3 pieces of evidence. And finally, there's me tying it all back to my claim. Okay? So go ahead and write that paragraph, and I would so love it if you sent me what you wrote. I will give you lots of feedback about it. And that's it. I look forward to meeting with you guys in our small group meetings. If you have questions about this or anything else that we've been doing, please bring those questions to those small group meetings and then we'll get those answered for you. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you later. Say goodbye, Leonardo. Goodbye, Leonardo.